All right, this video is to take place of the lesson we would have been doing today on subtracting rational expressions. So over the past few days, we've learned how to multiply, divide, and add two rational expressions. So we're going to wrap up our arithmetic by looking at subtraction. So remember, our standard was to understand the similarities between arithmetic with rational expressions and arithmetic with rational numbers. And like I said, we've been doing that. We've done multiplication, division, and addition. Now we've got to round it out with subtraction. So what I'd like you to do right now, turn to page 53 in your workbook and go ahead and complete the table here in number 9 to the best of your ability. So pause the video, complete the table, and then we'll come back and check to see how you did. All right, so you've completed the table. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the completed table, and we'll see how you did. So the description of the procedures along the left should read, determine factors needed for a common denominator, very similar to what we did yesterday with addition. Then we'll write both fractions with the common denominator, again, very similar to what we did with addition. And then we're going to combine by subtracting the numerators. However, we're not actually going to subtract, all right? We're going to learn a very important way to keep from making a sign error when doing this. And then finally, the final procedure there, divide out any common factors and write the equivalent expression. So they gave you a model here using rational numbers. You could use that again, very similar to what we've done with the other three forms of arithmetic. And so what I had to do here was find my common denominator, which would be x plus 5 times x minus 2, which I've done there. And I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by it because I want to multiply it by something that is equivalent to 1. That way I'm not changing the value of the term. In the next step, what I've done is I've multiplied out those two binomials. And so you notice here I've got 4 terms because I had 2 by 2, so it gives us 4 terms. You can use a box to do this. And then we still have that subtraction in the middle. However, going to the next step, it says combine by subtracting the numerators. However, instead of subtracting, what I would like for you to do is take this negative sign, similar to what we did with long division, use the distributive property and distribute it through to each term in the numerator of the second term. So effectively, that's going to change all the signs of the numerator in your second term. You're going to switch it from subtraction to addition. And now what you'll be able to do is go ahead and add your like terms. You don't have to worry about subtracting a negative and getting the signs correct. And then finally, divide out any common factors and write the equivalent expression. Well, what that means there is we need to go ahead and factor the numerator once we're done to see if it has a factor of either x plus 5 or x minus 2 and divide it out if it does, which in this case it did not. So we end up with the final expression. That equivalent expression is 2x squared minus 6x plus 18, that entire quantity divided by the product of the quantities x plus 5 and the quantity x minus 2. If you need a moment to update your answers or complete the table, go ahead and pause now and copy it down. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next problem. So also on page 53 is number 10. It says, what strategies, and really I've only listed one strategy here, will you use to be sure that you don't make sign errors when subtracting? And really that best strategy is what I said above. So the best strategy used to avoid sign errors is to use that distributive property of the subtraction sign across the numerator of the second rational expression and then switch the problem from subtraction to addition. Again, this is going to help you prevent making sign errors, which are really easy to do. All right. So our learning targets again, where I can add two rational expressions. I can subtract two rational expressions. So as we've seen here, the steps for subtracting are very similar to addition, just like we saw between multiplication and division, very similar. You just got to know where do I make that little change. And here it's very similar, except I'm going to distribute the negative across and then add. And that's it. And we have finished the standard we set out to do. And by now, with some practice, I believe you will be able to simplify rational expressions, multiply two rational expressions, divide two rational expressions, add two rational expressions, and subtract two rational expressions. So what I want you to do now is I'd like you to go and complete all the way through skills 5 and 6 in Delta Math. If you've already done 1 through 4, that's awesome. If you haven't, you've also got this additional time to do that. But take this time to do that, and tomorrow we'll do a little bit of practice, and then we'll take our mastery check on these operations between two rational expressions. That's it, folks, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.